Hey. Hey, baby. What are you still doing up? You okay? Yeah, I can hear the rain. Oh, was it thundering? No, baby, come here. Come here, yeah. No, it's okay. You should have woken me up sooner. I would rather you wake me up than just be scared by yourself. Of course, baby. It's okay. No, I don't mind being woken up at all. You comfy like that? Yeah, it doesn't look too comfortable. Come on. Yeah, you just get comfy however you want to. Yeah, no, this is good. I love holding you like this. No, it's okay. I'll stay up with you until you fall asleep. Of course, baby. Even if it takes hours and hours and hours. Yeah. No, I don't think the thunder's coming back anytime soon. Yeah, it's okay. Do you want distracting? Yeah, of course. I can find something to talk about. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have to think about it for a bit. Well, it can't be too interesting because, then you'll just be up for even longer. Oh, there's this thing called experimental archaeology. Have I, ever told you about that? No? Okay, well, I guess I should start with what it is, huh? I mean, basically, experimental archaeology is like the process of recreating ancient technology and attempting to use it so that we can better understand how ancient people would have used it, and also like how it might have impacted their daily lives. But sometimes it can give us a better insight into the tools we use today as well. Like, it's super interesting to like find out how tools became more specialized for their specific purposes over time. But like, also, I think a lot of the tools we use today are similar to old tools, at least from a creative standpoint. I think like tools used for weaving and knitting and stuff, I think are quite similar. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know, I think it's one of those things where if it's not broken, don't fix it. But yeah, it's, I don't know, fascinating. But the whole, like, study of experimental archaeology is to recreate ancient tools and find out how hard they were to use for the jobs they were needed for, depending on what materials they were like made out of and stuff, and like how that would have influenced how the tools were made in the future, like as they developed. But they also recreate tools to break them, so that there's a better understanding of like what they look like broken, so that archaeologists can like more easily identify them when they come across them. So like, for example, experimental archaeologists have recreated ancient arrowheads and found out exactly how they break when they hit rocks, or how that's different from when they hit bone or wood. And then once they've gathered enough data on the different ways they break, they can look at the original arrowheads they found and what's the word? Determine exactly how they were broken. It's very, very cool. I think the oldest stone tools we know about, well, this might be wrong now, but it used to be some tools from around 3.3 million years ago, which is way before the human species existed. And it was kind of like super rudimentary choppers and flakes, so things for hitting wood and stuff, like, yeah. But then there was the ancestors to Homo sapiens, is it habilis? I don't know, all I know is it translates literally to the handyman or men, but they were around 2.3 million years ago, and they were, I think they were the first, like, species, I don't know what the correct word for it is, but they were the first, like, things to have, like, cohesive stone tool technology. I think they're called older one tools, maybe? I don't know. Pronouncing things is weird. I've only ever seen it written down, so... But yeah, like things made out of, river pebbles? River petals, yeah, that's a real thing. River pebbles, or river cobbles. But it's like, they were pretty similar to the choppers that, like, already existed, so much so that we can determine that they were made using the same process, which is pretty cool. But then after the Homo habilis, the handymen, there was Homo erectus, which is the first hominid, the first human-like species to leave Africa, like, 2 million years ago, and then it kind of just spread out mainly over Asia, and made Herculean hand axes. It's like a site in France where some of these, like, were found. I think that's why they got the name Herculean hand axes. It's a place in France. France. Accents. But they were literally just rocks that had been chipped away at one end to come to a point, so, like, a hand axe might be a little bit of a stretch, but that is essentially what they were. Just super pointy rocks that could be used as a hand axe. But what's really interesting is that these were flaked on both sides, so previously they would just have one side that had been chiseled to make it sharp, but these ones had two, so it's one of the first bifaced tools, like the axes we use today. But this actually makes them sharper because they come to a steeper angle at the edge, which is, I don't know, I think it's very cool. But yeah, the stones they used were silicate based, because they were more predictable. Well, they must have figured out that they were more predictable in the way that they flaked. Like, you could, have a pattern to flake it. So, things like flint and obsidian were silicate based stones. Yeah. I think it's because of the structure of the crystals, the crystalline structure. It's more uniform, which allows you to predict how the shockwaves interact with the ridges on the rock to create tools in a better way. Yeah. So things that were like coarsely grained rocks don't break in predictable ways because the structure isn't as uniform. Yeah, so you can't, like, fully predict what's going to happen, especially not back then. But yeah, like, there was, I think around 500,000 years ago, there was, the earliest evidence of hafting. Hafting. I'm gonna keep saying hafting, which it could be wrong. I don't know if that's like concrete evidence that that's the earliest example, but hafting is like essentially where you take a stone tool and affix it to some sort of handle or implement, like wooden handles for the axes we use today. But obviously after 500,000 years the wood rotted away, so but obviously after 500,000 years the wood rotted away, so they actually found the residue of a like rudimentary glue on the back of some of these tools that they found in Africa, which, you know, indicates that they may have been glued onto some kind of handle, which is how we know that that's potentially, because the wood wouldn't have stood up to time, it's hard to know the definite earliest example, but yeah, I think that's what they've got so far. I don't think they've found any earlier ones yet, or if they have, they haven't realised that it's could be a hafting tool. The glue they used, it's called pine pitch. It's like a mixture of tree sap, beeswax, wood ash, and fat that's sort of mixed together to glue the tools onto like a handle. But they like carve a notch into the wood or like the bone they're using as the handle, and then put the glue in there and then stick them together and use things like animal sinew, which is kind of gross, to while it's wet, which is even worse, to like help tie it together and stuff, because it's super like easy to work with while it's wet, and then when it dries it shrinks and hardens like a rock, which is lovely to think about. I don't know how much more I have stuck in my little brain. Hey, are you asleep? No. Well, I guess that means I don't have to think of any more facts, which is a blessing, because I've run out for the moment. Sleep well, gorgeous. I will be here if you need me.